for having me. I'm fired up to be here.
Yeah, I'm super excited. As I was saying offline before we hopped on here, my wife Kayla, also Chris's daughter, does all of Rebecca's workouts. And then so Kayla loved it. She's been doing it ever since we had our 2 kids now. So it's been about 4 years now that she's been doing them. And then Rebecca showed up on our partner, Peter Taunton's, I don't know if it was a podcast or it was a YouTube video. And I was like, Peter, please connect us with her so we can get her on our podcast, because I know she can deliver a great show for everyone. So I'm excited to have you on.
Yeah, and Zach and Rebecca, just as a little context, this is airing in December. So what better time to talk about this and kind of reset for 2022? So with that as a little bit of a backdrop, we got some cool things we can share.
I love it. Love it. To dive in, Rebecca, I know you speak a lot about mindset. I mean, I've actually done some of your workouts too, and I'm telling you, they've kicked my ass plenty of times. But you spend a lot of time on mindset. So I'd love to know, as this is going into 2021, how do you spend, how do you focus on working your right mindset in order to hit your goals moving into the next upcoming year?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And, I always tell everybody it's 20% is the fitness, 80% is the nutrition, but 100% is your mindset. So if you think you can, you think you can't, you are right. And mindset is the biggest part. And a lot of times people come to me for the workouts, but if you listen to my language through the workout, because I talk all the time, I'm really teaching people about personal development and the power of the positive mind. And I think that it's absolutely crucial, because the way that we look at things is the way that the world is going to be for us. So mindset is absolutely crucial to your success in life and also your happiness.
So why is that? I mean, I've done so many workouts. I was a personal trainer myself. It's not that not all personal trainers or not all people that teach health do that. So why did that come about as being your style?
I think it's because it gives you the belief. If you want to hold a plank for 30 seconds, you're not going to be focused on, oh my goodness, I'm toning my arms for 30 seconds. It's a mindset game, because our bodies are actually way more capable than we give ourselves credit for. It's actually that our mind goes before our body. So if we can create strength inside of a workout, so we prove to ourselves, oh my goodness, like I've just held this plank for 30 seconds, or I've picked up a bigger weight. What it does is it actually teaches us belief and confidence in the outside world. And recently, I've made this amazing correlation between successful people and people who are humble and people who maybe have a bit of an attitude about it, which is why I love Peter so much, right? He does endurance stuff. He's about fitness. When you are in fitness, it humbles you. And it also grows you. I was recently in a room with Rick Steele, who's, Select Blinds and done 14 billion in e-commerce, amazing. He's so humble, and he has a whole part of his life, which is doing Ironmans. He's done 7 Ironmans in 7 days in 7 continents. I mean, that's crazy. And he was so humble, because I feel like when you're in a workout environment, it doesn't matter how much money that you earn. It's all about your physical ability. So it humbles you. And it also shows you the strength that you can have in doing things outside. So when you pick up some heavy weight, or you've just had a great workout, you walk out of that and you're like, I could wrestle a bear right now. I'm invincible. I have confidence. And I think that if you can use that element in the workout to bring it into your normal world, that is how you can get more confident and more belief in yourself.
So Rebecca, I'm thinking as you're going through that, and your energy is awesome. Zach and I grab workouts daily. So how about let's digress a bit and say to someone who's listening, I know some people firsthand right now, I'm thinking of them without putting them on the stage here, because that would be embarrassing, but they haven't even taken the first step yet, right? So what would be your advice from a mindset and physical standpoint? How and when could they start? What's their easy bridge, if there is such an easy bridge, thoughts for them?
Yeah, I think it's just getting outside and going for a walk. We know that when we're in good energy, we're in peak state, we make fast decisions, especially in the real estate world. And I've been around this world for the last 3 months. It's crazy how the universe kind of works. When you have to get on a phone with a lead or somebody, if you are feeling like, oh, you're kind of not feeling very confident and your energy's not a level 10. How are you on the phone? Do you want to pick up the phone and call that person to follow up with them for the 10th time? No, you don't have confidence. But how do you feel when you've jumped up and down, you've got energy, you're alive, you're like, oh, I'm going to just ring and call up all of my leads left, right, and center. So if you want to be successful in anything, and I think too, especially in real estate, you need to get yourself into peak state, to be making those calls. How do you get yourself into peak state and top energy? Move your body. So if you just want to start by literally jumping up and down, going for a walk, dancing, whatever it is, it's going to change your state and it's going to roll straight into your business.
Need her in the morning, Zach, on all with the salespeople.
Well, you can. You just got to go get her workout so you can see her every single morning, because I do. That's how you do it. Look, Rebecca, obviously you're in a great state of mind. You have amazing energy. I'm sure, and I'm just making a guess here, that wasn't always the case. So I know that we dove right into mindset, but could you bring us back a bit and tell us kind of where your journey started and how you've been able to be successful in the industry that you're in?
Yeah. And, it really is just about building that muscle. It's about building that discipline. And, sometimes we just have a natural drive inside of us, and sometimes we get to create that muscle. I moved to America 10, 11 years ago from a small town in England. I always had the dream of living in America and driving down PCH in my convertible car and, being in Southern California with the palm trees. I now do live on PCH and have a convertible Maserati. So I'm just like, what you vision and what you put out there really comes back. But I moved to America at 22 years old to get my commercial pilot's license. Something kind of crazy went on in London, and I saw a plane land because we had that volcano ash cloud that grounded all of the airplanes. And a plane landed, and I remember thinking, I'm going to be a pilot. And I literally, got on a plane and came to America and got my whole pilot's license, went back to England, did all of my written exams, and then just realized that it ultimately wasn't what I wanted to do forever. But I loved California. And so I managed to get myself a work visa. I came out here and I just started going for auditions on anything. I was like, I've got a British accent. They're going to love me in Hollywood. It's going to be so great. Turns out loads of British people have the same idea about using their accent in America. I went for an audition to be on a YouTube channel. I didn't really know much about YouTube, and it was a fitness channel. And they had been filming for like 6 weeks, but they didn't like who their host was, and they wanted to change things up. Now, I come from an athletic background. I was a South of England field hockey player. I played soccer. I was sports captain at school, trained dancer. I mean, you name it. I was in all sports. And I also loved presenting. So here I was at this audition, doing this, interview casting for a workout channel. Found out that my one talent in life is talking and working out at the same time. I'm like, I crush this. I am so good at this. And I've probably shot over 2,500 workout videos. So when you do something over and over again, it just becomes normal. I remember when I first started filming, my words wouldn't come out quite right, or the exercises, it didn't flow. I had to have notes. And now I could literally do a live workout with no notes whatsoever and just make it up as I go along. But that's because I've done it over and over and over again. And then, I've been on YouTube for the last 8 years. I have a fitness app, I have a book, I have a podcast, all the things. And it's just been an amazing journey, but it really has been to create that momentum and to create that muscle. It's about showing up. And what's really important is showing up when you don't feel like it. That's where you really create that discipline. We all know to brush our teeth every morning, right? But how can we make that a discipline of we work out every day, we look after our bodies? Because as Jim Rohn says, the only place that you have to live is your body, right? And that's what's really important, to look after yourself first. So if you show up when it's difficult, you will create the muscle to be able to do it just naturally. Those days where you don't want to make the phone call to your clients, where you don't want to show the house, when you don't want to do things, they're the days that you want to do it more, because it will create that muscle so that it just becomes something natural. And you won't even think about, do I do this or not? You're just like, that's just what I do.
Chris, I'm sure you get a question or a comment, but I do want to tell people it is extremely hard to work out and run a class and talk at the same time. I used to do it all the time. So the fact that you mastered that is a skill in itself. I promise you that. That's a huge accomplishment.
No, I didn't have any major question with that. I just, as you were saying that, Rebecca, I immediately go to exactly the same as our investors, Zach, do. They put all the scripts up, they're nervous, they stumble, and if they do it over and over again, but so many people stop with the reps, so to speak. They stop way too short. And then therefore, I guess you'd say, Rebecca, the mental game, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you're not in peak state, if you're not energized and ready to go, you don't have confidence and certainty. So if you're trying to sell something to somebody, you need to have certainty in your voice. And if you don't have the confidence because your energy is not in the right place, if you're a 7 or below, your energy is just not there. You're not going to deliver. And you can change that in an instant by moving your physiological body.
I love that. That's huge. I know Tony Robbins is big on all that, changing your peak state in order to go out and make that happen. So Rebecca, I mean, you made it seem like you just kind of smoothly sailed into California, grew this massive business, were a killer on YouTube. I'm sure you went through some roadblocks and some challenges. So maybe tell us about some of those challenges and how you overcame them.
Yeah, I think every day, as a CEO, as someone as a company, your own boss, your job is to put out fires and not react and do it in the smoothest way possible. I mean, just for example, releasing an app is a whole, thing in itself. I've gone through 10 different app developers, people saying that they can do things that they can't. I've made business partnerships that haven't worked out. I've had issues with, technical stuff. I've had issues with products. I mean, you name it, everything that could happen has happened. But it's like, that's the only way that you get to learn is through those mistakes. I mean, I was on another YouTube channel that I built to 3 million subscribers that I got paid $40 per episode, have no royalties or residual, and they won't even put my name on it. And then after that, for 18 months, I then had a break, and then I created my own channel that hasn't quite caught up to that. So, but they gave me the possibility, and they gave me the vision of what I was supposed to be on YouTube. So there's always going to be experiences as you go along that are going to teach you great lessons that are there to teach other people. But I think the biggest thing is knowing it's the journey, right? Once you've closed that deal, and once that app comes out, you're like, oh, well, now what? It's really the fun of the journey, and actually the stuff that kind of goes wrong, where you get to be this amazing problem solver and you get to fix stuff. I've had multiple employees. I've had multiple different teams. I've had PR agents that haven't worked out. I've had a lot of learning tax. That's how I like to say it, right? Learning tax of how much. Hundreds of thousands of dollars of learning tax. My boyfriend, Luke Wren, who actually speaks for Tony Robbins, and he actually has just done a big conference in real estate over in Orlando this weekend. He says that the first time it's tax, it's tax money, right? The second time is dumb tax, right? Learning tax first. If you do the same mistake again, it's dumb tax, right? So we always have learning tax and money. And I think sometimes we get so attached that oh, we lost money on this, so we're not going to try again. It's like, that is part of business. You win some, you lose some. And over time, you just get to work with better quality people. I think that was one of my biggest lessons, is that I should have hired somebody who was more skilled at that area faster, because I was worried about the income that I was bringing in.
Love it. Love it. I'm learning tax and dumb tax.
That's a first. I love it.
Sounds like a t-shirt to me. So obviously you have life outside of being a CEO and run your business. And we're big about, I would say I'm not going to say that there's balance in life. I think there's always ebbs and flows with work-life balance. But, do you have any words or do you have a point of view on how an entrepreneur, how a CEO can live a balanced lifestyle where they're able to take care of their health and to take care of their energy along with being successful in business?
Yeah, well, I'm going to take some of my boyfriend's content right here. So I'm going to make sure that he gets the credit for this, because he hates the word balance, right? His word is rhythm. He helps entrepreneurs find rhythm to create momentum and cut through the BS to get results. And it is a rhythm, because, if we're balanced, right, it doesn't work, right? It's a flat line. Your life, if you're actually going to a hospital, right, and your line is flat, you're dead. There's no such thing as balance. And sometimes you're going to be full in your business. There's going to be different seasons. Right now mine is I've got this new app team. I'm working on it. We're going to create something huge. And you just got to know that there's going to be times through your life where you're going to be focused on business. And then you're going to be able to create that, to step back and say, right now I need to add in fun. I need to schedule in fun. I need to schedule in experiences. Jesse Itzler's amazing at this, at talking about building your life resume, not just your business resume. And I've really, taken that on. I've been to 41 different countries. I'm climbing Mount Everest next year. So I always like to have a goal that's something specific that is going to challenge me, and it's going to be an amazing experience. So I think giving yourself grace sometimes as an entrepreneur, because we are hustling hard. but you need to be able to look at the bigger picture to say, great, if I got to hustle for these 3 weeks, right, because it's important and I don't want to take the foot off the gas because I've got so much momentum, do I have time for my body to repair and recuperate? Because it's in those times where we get more creative, we have ideas, we're actually able to have that think time and think about the bigger vision so that we can expand from what we've just done. So I don't think there's any such thing as balance. I think it's about finding what you said, the word flow, harmony. Steve Wojciechowski, who was a speaker at a mastermind that was just at, he talked about finding harmony. We talk about rhythm, that flow, balance. I don't think entrepreneurs even like the word balance. Like, it just feels like, what is this weird? Like, I'm never going to be balanced, right? It just doesn't really work. But finding that rhythm and finding the flow and knowing that we go through seasons, and just scheduling in exciting things to do. Like, when was the last time you had a trip? When was the last time you had an experience, or you learned a new skill, or you tried something different? Because I think that's what makes life exciting, and it gives you more creativity, and it also helps in your business as well.
You know what, Zach, and Rebecca, when you were talking, you said mastermind. So I know this is slightly diversion from the flow here, but how much time and money and effort and energy do you throw at you seeking mentors or you seeking masterminds, and how does it look for you?
Everything. 2019, I joined Lewis Howes's mastermind. It was a lot of money, right? But that I know was the catalyst to my entrepreneur journey. So yes, I'm a fitness trainer, but at heart, I know I'm an entrepreneur. I know I'm a business leader, and I know how to do everything in my business. I know all the tech stuff as well. Like, I got in a call the other day with my new developers. They're like, okay, you know your stuff. I was like, yeah, you won't be able to get around me because I know every element of my business, because I think it's important to understand so that when you're working with people, what if their opinion is correct. And so I think that's one of the biggest things, is really understanding your business and going through it step by step. So the masterminds, back to the mastermind part, Lewis Howes's was the absolute catalyst for me. That's where I learned, I met so many of my great friends. And in fact, I was just speaking at an event with Damon John because my friend was putting on the event that I met in 2019. And so even this year, I joined 3 masterminds, and that's literally where I've met all of my friends, because it's the power of proximity. Like, Tony Robbins says, proximity is power, and working with people in that environment where everybody's on the same journey. I don't even have any friends anymore that aren't entrepreneurs or don't have that same alignment. I have one friend from back home, but that's it. Everybody else is on the same wavelength. They're not going to judge you, because someone more successful than you will never judge you, right? It's always about having those accountability partners and people that are going in the right direction. So I'm a massive advocate for masterminds. Like, that's where you're going to find your people.
We couldn't agree more. I mean, we built a community of entrepreneurs, of real estate investors, and that is what we say is the most powerful thing. It's not necessarily your coach, it's the community that they're a part of. So I love where you're going there. As we kind of come to a close here on this podcast, I know that when Chris and I get interviewed, we always say, hey, I wish that host asked me this question. Is there any question that we missed, or something that you wanted to pour into the audience for as we roll to the end here?
Well, I'm an open book, so you guys can ask me anything. But no, I think the thing is that you've got to put yourself first in terms of listening to what you want. I think a lot of times we get so influenced by what other people are. So I always like to give people an action step when they leave something, because how many times have you been to an event or you've listened to a podcast and you don't actually integrate the information? You're like all fired up, but like you don't actually do anything. So I would just spend, 5 minutes after this thinking about, like, how is your energy on a day-to-day basis? Is it 0 to 10? What does that look like? How are you showing up for your clients? How are you showing up for your family? And it all starts with you. And just have a reflection after this podcast, after you've listened to it, just a scale of 1 to 10. How are you showing up? Because when we show up like a 5 or, anything really less than a 7, we're just not giving it out to our best. And we can change that in an instant by changing our physiological body. And I learned that really early on. I was, introduced to Jim Rohn 8 years ago, who was Tony Robbins' mentor. So it really is about changing your state. So anytime that you're feeling, like kind of lethargic or tired or anxious or depressed or not confident, think about how you can change your body just by sitting up taller, just kind of like moving and just coming into that strong stance. And just something as simple as that. We don't need you can have all the strategies in the world, but if you don't have energy, you're not going to be able to employ those strategies. We can learn all the different techniques and the funnels and all of this stuff, but if you don't have energy, none of that stuff is going to work. So as you leave this podcast, just really think about, what is my energy like and how can I get it to a 10?
Yeah, and let's give everyone a simple call to action. You got a cool 31-day free challenge, and we put on a special link, smartrealestatecoach.com/get started. So everyone in the Wicked Smart listening community in 96 plus countries, you just all got a free start to work out with Rebecca. That's cool.
Yeah, that's your action item. Go start working out. Let's start changing your energy, because by next year, hopefully you're going to have the same energy as Rebecca brought to this podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure. I feel like I could sit here and ask you a million questions, but consider your time, the listeners' time. Maybe we can make an encore episode soon enough here as well.
Yeah, thanks for being on, Rebecca. Appreciate you a lot.
Thank you so much, guys.